Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 660. Today we'll be doing battle with Dooley. And so, taking a bit of a break from Vanessa, jumping over to the prime winner of the patch here in Dooley, and it's been pretty mind-opening. I don't know if it's safe to say that Vanessa is bad and Pygmalion are bad, or if it's just that Dooley is so good, but even being like fairly inexperienced with Dooley, it's been so easy to just come out and grab a bunch of 10-win runs. And so as we start a video off with it with an intro like that, I'm sure we'll get up to about 4 in this one, but it's been incredible how easy it is. And so I'm curious what the kind of deal is with Tempo in terms of Dooley, if since he was so kind of like nerfed and taken out of the game in some of the previous patches, if they've really come out and started to experiment now that like full item Dooley is here, or what it was. But man, it's been pretty incredible how strong he is. But with this start here, the things that I like to do with Dooley in this patch is I like to win fast. It's not to say that you can't win with some big scaling builds, but I tend to prefer to go towards things that can win fast. And so winning with a force field, winning with a combat core, winning with some kind of combo using pulse rifle or not pulse rifle, railgun, whatever the 10-second cooldown one is that charges itself when you haste or slow. I like building towards those things as opposed to coming out and building towards like big scaling builds, like big shield stacks, big burn stacks, big poison stacks. Just not what I prefer to do. It's not to say that they aren't strong. It's just not what I think is exceptionally good in this patch. I think the thing to me with scaling builds in this game, as you fall further and further away from 10 wins, as you get up into like day 13, day 14, day 15, you run into lots of occasions to where it's like, oops, I just got hit with a 1 second Lion Cane. Or like, oops, I just got hit with a full board freeze. And so there's just like so many options to do obnoxious shit on day 14 that if I get to that point, I would prefer to have a build that wins in 2 seconds as opposed to a build that wins in 15 seconds. And so I tend to shy away from those more scaling builds. Now, that might be because I've been out here maining Vanessa, and Vanessa just does that scaling worse than everybody else. And so I might have a bit of bias, but that's the way I've been leaning towards Dooley. But let's jump into the action here. So we have Shield Core, we've got Critical Core, and we've got the Core. As far as these go, I typically prefer Shield Core, or Armored Core. I call it Shield Core. Just the things I like in this patch, again, things like Force Field works great with Armored Core. Things like Combat Core work great with it. Duct Tape works great with it. Duct Tape going back to an on-use item, and so it's very easy to say scale Duct Tape and Armadillo. There's just lots of great things that can kind of come in and build out of this. And so that's the one we'll stack in here with today. See if we can't get ourselves something sweet. And so, much like the starts with Vanessa, I really like to come out and just chase after experience points here in the early game. So we're definitely going to try and level up before we hit day 2. And then a reasonable start with Banana will give us that 25% shot to come out and spike a duct tape. Even if we miss, things like this heal boosting thing aren't bad, right? Dropping a little med kit on first Aiden could definitely be worse. And so let's see what stacks up. Whew. So, man, if you all saw the previous video, you saw we were worried about the Kansas City Chiefs making it to the Super Bowl. We're going to make it. We're there. I know it's old news now, right? it's Wednesday. That happened on Sunday, but it's pretty exciting. I'm still in the camp that we'll probably just lose the Super Bowl, as much as I thought we would probably just lose the AFC Championship game as well. But it's kind of like dulling in the sense that the first time the Chiefs got to the Super Bowl, it was like super hype and exciting, and we went to the parade afterwards and everything. And then they got there again, and they won again, and it's just like, oh, that's cool, they did it twice. And then after that, it's just been kind of like, eh. I know it's like a spectacular achievement to do what they've done, to win so much and so perfectly over the course of the Patrick Mahomes era, but you just get kind of numb to it. It's like, even when they're shitty, they're still coming through. Now, I don't think the Chiefs are shitty. I think the Chiefs had major injury problems throughout the beginning of the year that made them look shitty. I think they were extremely underrated in the sense that they suffered a lot of injuries, and a lot of those injuries have recovered, and now they're kind of back to full force in the playoffs. But it'll be interesting to see how things go in the Super Bowl, because I do think they are underdogs again. But let's jump in here. We're going to hit our level up as soon as we jump into the next day. We'll just go to Andy here and purchase up some small items. Maybe we find a duct tape. Otherwise, we'll just hopefully, get some useful shit. I'm fine to pick up all 3 things here and then see what's in the next shop as well. Nothing tailored to working towards shields, but, we're looking to just have a full board going into day 2. We don't really get to pick and choose what we're going to see here. But we did pick up a shield item in the induction AGS. We picked up a first Aiden, which is always going to be useful as well. I'm just going to go ahead and burn the med kit. There's no other real heal items within the Dooley kit. And then let's see what turns up as far as these skills go. And so the weapon crit I'm kind of okay with. The left-handed is what I'm actually leaning towards here. Just putting left-handed on the Uzi, so we can have the Uzi out here to the right. It's a bit. Or I'm sorry, we don't even have to put it out to the right. I'm going to say we need it to be our... Oh, it's our leftmost. Oh, we haven't even picked it yet. I'm sitting here just like moving the fucking items around, being like, why aren't the damages going up on our Uzi? And it's because we haven't even picked the skill yet. But I think left-handed onto Uzi is going to provide us with the most bang for our buck here early. Not opposed to toughness, but we're going to be scaling our shields anyway, so that little bit of flat shield isn't something I'm super needing right now. If we had duct tape, we might consider it, just because it scales up a little bit earlier that way, but I'm just going to dive in with the left-handed, get our Uzi up and running, have it a little bit more powerful in this starting round. Ooh, all right, though. Some hot Dooley on Dooley action here. We got the legendary skin, so we should be at an advantage. Looks like he's got the shield core as well. I'm not certain if our Uzi is going to be able to outscale this. We'll just have to see. I would like to imagine that even without it, our shields should stay fairly close, and we're able to come in and deal like a lot more shield damage than he's able to, right? You can see he hasn't even cracked through our shields, and we've got him down to about 100 health, and so our Uzi's going to fall off. He's going to get to gain a little bit more health, but it shouldn't be enough for the Sandstorm to give him the victory. We're at like 500 health now. He's at 200. Definitely good to go. Whew. All right, let's call it a day. Let's call it a video. Locked and loaded, all done. Got that round 1 victory. Can't ask for any more. Okay, day 2. What do we got here? And so our money's pretty messed up at this point. We only have 7 gold, so it should be a pretty easy experience point take here. Not very easy to shop until after we get through the first PvE round. Same kind of deal here with Midsworth. I'm not opposed to this, right? The items I mentioned liking earlier, being things like force field and combat core, we could actually find here fairly early out of Midsworth, but we don't have the money to roll. And so it's like if we could just show up and roll and purchase one for like 12 gold, whatever that costs, that would be fine with me, but I think it's a little safer to just come over and take the experience point here. Now in this next set, I'm leaning towards the coconut crab, picking up the combat claw, whatever it's called. Definitely works nicely with the armored core. I'm not entirely certain we could beat the rogue scrapper on this day, but the warrior probably would be doable. But the coconut crab has this just super high valued item in the crusher claw, right? Deal damage equal to the highest shield value of your shields, and so with the scaling shields you get out of the shield core, it gives a lot of opportunity to do neat combo stuff with that. Nothing cooler than neat combo stuff. That's what we're all here for. Seashell. Boo. So much for having fun today, am I right? All right, nothing too big within here. I do like going for these bronze tier loots. It just gives you so many opportunities to upgrade rando items, right? So if we get burn, it's not useless because of the induction. If we get heal, it's not useless because of first aiden. Like, just all of the bases tend to be covered with Dooley. But if you come in and say, like, buy a bronze tier item, there's a very real chance you're just going to sell it for 1 gold. And so we get the 2 gold and then the additional gold from selling the loot item, just almost always better than the bronze tier items that you get alongside it. I'm just a little too risk averse, maybe. It just seems like it just seems like rolling for those rando items just misses way too often. The financials aren't really balanced there. And so onto this next set, we got 2 shops before we get to the the PvP round. Could look towards medium items. I want to fill out our board, but we're still again like a little light on our gold. We can pick up 4 gold at the end of the day if we need to. It's just the bummer for like the items we would be looking for. If we want a medium item, that's going to be something like Armadillo. But Armadillo doesn't combo with the combat core. There's some other useful things like Balloon Bot or Balloon Buddy and Brick Buddy. They're kind of decent early game shield items, but we don't have any real combos for them. And so I'm leaning towards just going full greed mode here and taking the abandoned chest, and then hoping that we get a decent shop in the next round. But I mean, it's a real pain point if we go into the PvP round and we don't get to fill out our board. And so that's close. I'll just take the medium item shop to be a little bit safe here. And so we could pick up a Brick Buddy. It's not a super combo here with the armored core, right? This is something good with the friend core, but it's a little bit on theme. We have a friend already, and so we can kind of combo with that just a little bit. Not interested in the lizard or the weak point detector, though. See if any other items turn up. And so these aren't bad, right? Blast Doors is quite good in the early game. It's kind of like having Life Preserver from Vanessa. It's just essentially giving you, at a minimum, an extra 150 health, but very likely 300 here in the early game. And so almost double the health with Dooley here if we get 1 normal activation and 1 half health activation. And so very powerful in that sense. And then also a Armadillo. If we pick up a Duct Tape and get the Duct Tape Armadillo combo, I don't hate seeing that either. So let's pick up the Armadillo. I'm going to come back and get the Blast Doors, but I want to put the shield upgrade onto the armored core, so we can go ahead and do that. Let's sell off the Seashell. We're not going to use it. Then we can pick up these Blast Doors. All right, so I'm on board with that. Curious if we want to go towards putting this GPU in. I typically don't play GPU unless we have the combat core to go with it, so it gets the double core activations, the armored core and the combat core, but yeah, I think we'll leave it at home. And then up next, we did come to the Mountain Pass. See if we can't spike a good escort the convoy run. The battle with the Covetous Thief. Okay. I think we're okay here. We can definitely kill him before that weapon scales up too much. He doesn't have a ton of activators for the Blast Doors, though, which is kind of a bummer. Probably ought to put the Blast Doors to the right of the shield core. I typically just farm it out here to the left, but that scaling shields are going to be more useful. We're definitely not getting a ton of charge activations for the core off of the Blast Doors. So we good with this? I don't think we want a Shadow Cloak. Armadillo, not quite ready to combo. I think if we could do like Armadillo and the Shadow Cloak, I might not hate it. But I want to fill out the board a little bit first, and so maybe that'll be a scaling thing for the following round. I'm a little bit more interested in these Blast Doors for the current round. Okay, see what Vanessa we're up against. If we're up against a poison Vanessa, we're going to look like dum-dums. If we're up against a weapon-based Vanessa, we're going to look brilliant. Well, it is a poison Vanessa, but she doesn't have a haste activator for that pufferfish, so we might be okay. We just got to make it to the sandstorm, and we should be strong. His barrel of funds not scaling up too hard at the moment. Nice, yeah, we got that blast door activation before we hit half health, so we'll definitely get at least 2 usages out of it this battle. Got him.
You should put it toward nobler use.
Got the talent. You should put it towards nobler use. What were you thinking, bro? Man, I gotta say with the voiceovers, I love the voiceovers in the game. It was one of the real highlights of Legends of Runeterra, like having the interactions and everything between the cards. I love the voiceovers in this as well, but that thing where the character starts going off because you've been idle for too long, that's got to go, or it's got to get taken off of a loop. Like I'll be in a situation to where like I start playing a game and then have to alt tab and do stuff for like 10-20 minutes later, and then you just got Vanessa like chiming in the background the whole time telling you to hurry the fuck up. Like I don't need to hear that 45 minutes later. Like I've definitely passed on the activity that's currently happening in the game. And I don't need her chiming in at every moment telling me to hurry the fuck up. All right, how are we going to push forward here? The silver tier shop could be okay. We're still just kind of lacking in the money. Just the small weapons aren't something that we're ever really going to use, right? So it's basically just like picking up a few dollars. So let's at least go to the silver shop, see if we get something decent turning up here. Don't expect to be a Clarence build. We're not using the friend core. Guess we can afford something on the roll. And then we got access to force field. So that's definitely very big. Kinetic cannon can be useful, but you tend to find there's not as many small shield items as you want. And so I'm not looking to really chase after that, but the force field can definitely be the real deal here today. The question with force field is, do we want to go ahead and give up on some of this stuff in play? Like, we don't need Arc Blaster, we don't need Uzi, even though Uzi's a good, strong early game activator with that 2-second cooldown. Kind of curious how long we'll actually keep Uzi on board. Just trying to determine what to sell here, right? We need to get up 6 more gold. Like, the Brick Buddy is probably the easy sell. I don't think we'll ever use Shadow Cloak. It is nice putting the haste onto the force field, but it's not an activator item, so it doesn't really help us combo. It doesn't combo with the armored core, so it should be a fairly easy pass. Still kind of want to hang on to Armadillo. It just feels like we're going super all in if we get rid of the Armadillo at this point, but I think I'm okay with either being all in on force field or combat core, and so we'll keep the GPU. Just like, I mean, first Aiden is always so easy to keep within the builds. So it's like Arc Blaster can go. Dude, I was talking to people. Don't cut out of the game. Just have Vanessa turn up and tell me how lazy I'm being instead of kicking us out of the game. Well, let's see. It's like my stock in Armadillo goes down once we get rid of like the way to scale up the damage on it, but it's still a very strong activator, right? If we have a duct tape next to the Armadillo and then they're just comboing off on each other, it gives us a bunch of activations into the armored core, and so I'm usually pretty okay with that. Maybe we can just get rid of blast doors at this point. They're probably only good for like this remaining day. It's a fairly big item as well. Takes up a lot of board space. All right, good deal. So that's fine. Bronze upgrade should be pretty easy onto the armored core. Get those scaling shields coming in. Now we can put some of this stuff back in. Okay. Could leave the tech item instead of the Uzi, perhaps. It's going to get some of the tech activation off of the force field, off of the Aegis, off of the core. Armadillo is unfortunately not a tech. All right, that looks good. So no money. I'm just going to take the chocolate bars. Not really interested in just picking up 2 gold. Oop. Click too fast. There we go. And then we can maybe get the force field upgrade on the round, right? If we're going to come out here and battle the eccentric Aetherite, accidentally spike a force field. I'd prefer to get this haste thing, right? Rigged is just so strong. But, you know, getting an upgrade on the force field would be pretty sweet as well.
But the Bazaar will go dark without me!
Rigged. Cool. Haste 2 items for 3 seconds at the start. All right, so up next, pretty easy Lost Crate. We need the money, and it's going to let us level up before the next PvP round. In the next set, might as well just go to the Mountain Pass, right? Keep stacking in those experience points. Even if we miss, we'll still level up, and so not a huge miss. We got the experience points still. So what's here? We got poison shit, burn shit, and then when you haste freeze, getting that haste right out the gates is pretty good, right? Since we're gonna immediately just use rigged. And so let's go ahead and stack in quick freeze instead of rolling.
But it's beautiful up there.
It's been interesting with the freezes. Like they were just so easy to acquire in the previous patch that anytime you went to Reddit, it was just like thread after thread after thread of I hate freeze, I hate freeze, I hate freeze, I hate freeze. And then ever since this patch started, you haven't seen nearly as much of that commentary. Everybody's out there just hating on other shit at the now, and so it's been very interesting how the freeze abilities are still readily available. They're just not nearly as powerful as they used to be. That's not accurate. It's just they're lined up so much more frequently as to where you don't have as many skills, and you have to make that decision. And do I want to get a synergistic skill or get a freeze skill? And it used to just be freeze skills turning up much more frequently. All right, but aced that Dooley, felt pretty good. Not super interested in going to the weapon shop. Probably just want to get more chocolate bars at this point. Get a little bit more health up in our business. Up next, Mountain Pass again. Always love going to the Mountain Pass. Technovirus should be a fairly easy takedown. It's a little worrisome with all that poison coming at us, but his poison doesn't shrink our shield, so the force field typically does in the work before he's able to scale up. Boomed up some of our items, but the force field still gets the job done. Getting that crypto. Getting my new Donnie Trump tokens out here. So what do we got? Silver tier loot? Deal. That's not exciting. Tell me what you would rather invest in. This is what the channel can become now, right? An investment advice from Bust. Would you prefer to invest in the Hawk Tua coin or a Donnie Trump coin? It's a big decision. I don't know. I'm just too much of a boomer. I don't understand it. It's like I kind of get it with Bitcoin, to where you can say, you know, hey, what can you buy with this Bitcoin? And you can like go and buy something with it, right? You can go to like the Bitcoin ATM and withdraw cash, or there's still some websites that'll let you purchase stuff with Bitcoin. But like, where are you going to purchase something with a Hawk Tua coin? I just don't get it. And so like I understand the aspect of gambling with extra steps, right? That's what you see in large part with some of this stuff, just gambling with extra steps. But man, I just don't get it. Like if you're not just like out there gambling, what is the actual purpose in purchasing a Hawk Tua coin? I don't know. I'm fucking old. I guess that's it. That's the excuse for everything I have now. It's like, I'm just fucking old. But all right, the next set of shops, let's get us in the tools here. Duct tape is a tool. I would love to find one of those if we can. I think we're pretty far away from being a power drill build. I don't like power drill when we're on armored core. You know, it's clearly not good with friend core. Armored core doesn't really cut it. I want to be on a red core or a burn core before I try to use this thing to make the scaling happen a little bit easier. And so we'll just pass on it at this point. Very powerful though, very strong this patch. Otherwise, no real things to chase after here. We're never playing Chris Army Knife. We're not doing burn stuff. No duct tape. Bummer. All right, up to battle against Vanessa. One hex short of the level up. Always feels kind of bummery. Oh shit, that crypto's up to 10 though. It's the time you gotta buy, right? Buy it at the top, sell it at the bottom. That's what I learned on the Wall Street bets. But let's see. I don't think we want any of this other stuff. Like, I don't think Arc Blaster. Maybe Arc Blaster just doesn't cut it anymore. Can come to look at multi-tool. Multi-tool's probably a little bit more effective than Arc Blaster, or than GPU. It's like getting the guaranteed haste onto the armored core is kind of nice, but getting the full 2-second haste and the slow is probably just a little bit better here. If we had 2 cores, then I would definitely go for the GPU.
My fight fight isn't with you, but if you insist.
Alright, what do we got here? See some orange items out there going with the solo item Vanessa. Okay. Hopefully that multi-tool does some work here. This is the kind of battle where multi-tool should be good. Dropping a slow onto the cutlass is pretty strong. We just landed our first one on it. Definitely didn't hit it there early. I'm not certain what scales up harder, if our shields are going to be enough. We're getting some of these like massive shield hits in when all of our cooldowns align, but he's getting these kind of guaranteed things in a little bit better. Bummer. It's just like that's kind of one of the downsides of playing single item Vanessa. I know that he beat us here, but when you come out here with just the one item, then all of your opponent's negative effects just land on that one thing, right? Because you can't freeze a crow's nest, you can't freeze the cloak, and so our multi-tool was just either hitting one of 3 items instead of one of like 6 or 7. But moving on, upgrading the silver tier items. The way I typically go about these with the cores is I'll upgrade the core to gold, and then I look for either just the skill or go to the medium item shop and get the sellable medium item core upgrade thing, and won't take it beyond that. But there's not a ton of reason to come in and upgrade things like force field. It doesn't, it just gets like that little bit of extra shield, and so it's not a super strong upgrade target. We'll pass on that, go to Toxicolox. Everybody loves a good haste item. A bunch of garbage on the first set, no good items, no good enhancements. Picking up GPU is fine. You can go ahead and pick up COG. I don't think we'll use it, but we're kind of rolling in the cash now, so it feels a little bit safer. If we come across some haste combos, we won't be upset about having it. All right, next set, we'll go to the small item shop. Basically just looking for duct tapes in here. Doesn't turn up in the first set. Doesn't turn up in the second, although cool LEDs is here. I could definitely see us making a switch over from the force field to the combat core. So having both the GPU and the cool LEDs could play kind of nicely in the future. We'll keep an eye on that. Not going to use these other 2 guys though. All right, so what's up within here? I'm typically okay with fighting Harkuvian Rocket Trooper. He's got some decent upgrades for us in here. He's got these rando crit things. He's got the scaling, or the haste boosts with the rocket boots and stuff. Not terrible. Alright, get some of them crits. So up next, I think I want to go to small and... the Lost Crate's going to get us a level up before the next round, but I'm a little interested in large items. I'm just going to go to the EXP, get the guaranteed level up. So what's up next? Pearl's Dig Site could be interesting. See if we come up with a spectacular item.
Shall we start?
Nothing good on day 1. Are we ever a double whammy build? you see something like double whammy turn up and you say, okay, maybe that's it today. No, we're not going to scale the health. Nothing useful in this next set. Pufferfish, little interesting. We do have GPU, we have COG, we have First Aiden. So we have access to 3 separate haste things at the moment. And then if you want to, you can say take your COG and just have it on the left here, so it's only targeting the one item. So when when it picks an adjacent item, there's only one to pick, so it has to pick, say, the pufferfish. I'm a little tempted to go for it. It's just we're gonna struggle to find ways to scale it. I don't know. If we're not interested in, say, monitor lizard, we're probably not interested in pufferfish. So let's just skip past that. Let's roll past it before we get any crazy ideas going. What about Pig's Gym? I mean, you can't just let it sit on your bench and gain max health with it. I don't think we're ever gonna put it on board though. All right, let's just use it as a health factory.
Magnificent find.
That's not as exciting as as I was hoping things were going to be. And up here, I like to go for crit skills. That's the big way that we take down some of these battles with the force field or the augmented core. They need to be hitting crits. Didn't really land on the first page here. Let's roll again and see if we find rightmost item or just something a little bit better. Probably rather have Deadly Eye. Your weapons get 5% crit as opposed to just the right eye, the force field getting 8. I think we always keep Armadillo, and then the only thing up in the air is force field, and so get just a touch more crit across the board.
Use it wisely.
All right, so let's see. I guess I'll go ahead and upgrade the force field. It's like once we've picked up both the cool LEDs and the GPU, I'd kind of rather switch to combat core. But I guess we can deal with that later. Let's do this. Let's take First Aiden out. I think he's kind of done at this point. I think I want to have both of the slows in here. The cool LEDs and the multi-tool. Give us more time to scale up on the cores. Not even opposed to taking out Induction Aegis, but I think that's a little too greedy. Like having that third shield item out here. It's eventually just gonna ideally be a duct tape, right? And so we're gonna have to kind of maintain the space on that small item anyways. Yeah, he's got all kinds of diamond shit out here. He's got the diamond combat core, he's got the diamond critical core. Not bad for day 5, I guess. Not bad, not bad. Our barely having 1 gold item. Alright. He did have the upgrade thing, though. And so, the upgrade skill, if you have the upgrade skill, it upgrades both of the cores at the same time. Damn. Alright, another mountain pass, though. Going to take this every time. I think we can beat the Radiant Corsair. Trying to think if we want to swap any of these items out. That's probably fine with both of the slows still. Okay.
Another worm to feed my brood.
Putting the lockdown on that anchor right at the start. He does get quite a bit of burn scaling in here, and so I'm not certain we're able to deal enough shield damage with the burn taking our shield down. Yeah, it looks like we might get through the first set of health, but we're not going to get through the second set of health. Not even getting through that first bit. Bummer.
Fight worse than eat grass.
That's a bummer. Alright, what's up next? Large items. Definitely on board with this. Come out and find that combat core. It's typically pretty easy to find all of the cores out here, or come out and find some of the other big ones. So it's not Bunker's garbage in this patch now that it doesn't tick off of shield or off of burn. Forklift is not the right one. Kinetic cannon we're not going to use. We're not going to... I guess you could be in a world where we put 2 more small items in, but I don't think this is going to do it. There's the combat core. Tell me we don't have enough space. We're getting rid of First Aiden, Arc Blaster, that's fine.
This money. What should I do with it?
Okay. We can just switch over to the combat core a little bit. So now we'll go back to having the GPU in. Since it's going to haste both of the cores, it'll hit the armored core and the combat core now. Okay. So who's up next? Don't think we can beat Infernal. We can go to Foreman. I don't know if we're ever a forklift build, but or Crane. If Crane turns up, though, we could definitely do some big-time stuff with it. So we'll see. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Gotta get it first. that big 500 crit off the combat core to end the day. Alright, Chris Army Knife. That's boring. You know what, game? That's boring. Alright, so next set, let's go to the portal. See if we can't get a free, sweet-ass enchantment. Doesn't turn up. Don't think we want any of this stuff. Combat core is not a vehicle, so it's kind of hard to find good upgrades in here. Propane tank, not going to cut it. Next set, there is a multi-tool upgrade. We'll take it. I don't think we're going to use it, but, you know, if we pull, say, Armadillo and put in multi-tool and Cog or multi-tool and Uzi, that could be a thing. Not going to blow torture goggles, so. Alright, up next, take that silver tier loot. Just do it every time, huh? Chris Army Knife can go. He's never going to make it.
Gold becomes goods, then returns to gold, like clouds.
Just go ahead and upgrade the armored core. Alright, so next set, might as well jump in on these items, huh? I guess we could dig for a rando shield item, but we're pretty healthy in terms of money at this point. Again, I don't think we're ever a power drill build. We'll skip over that. Armadillo upgrade, though.
So, how about this weather?
Take that, get one of these fresh Haktua coins out here. It's one of those things I just can't believe I've ever said in my entire life. Who'd have thunk it? Like, props to that girl. Props to Haktua girl for making the most out of it. You get drunk, and typically, you know, you get drunk and do something dumb on social media. That's just gonna be like a reminder for the rest of your life, because shit on social media just never goes away. But, you know, she was able to turn a BJ comment into a career, making a shitload of money. Props to her. So how we doing out here? We got an initial freeze landing on that double barrel. Bought us quite a bit of time in terms of how this battle's going. Definitely got us the time we needed to activate those shields. Just canceling the double barrel then doubles up and canceling those extra activations onto the repeater. So, nice little spike there at the beginning. Alright though, next set, let's jump in on these large items. Maybe we'll spike another combat core. Get a weapon isn't a real shop.
Buy, sell, fight.
You use a tech. I don't think we're gonna have that happen. Got to remember that Railgun also has multicast. It's easy to kind of pass on. That one on the previous set, we've been looking at kinetic cannons. Railguns deal 100 damage, multicast 2, but when you use a tech, it gets charged. We're kind of close to that being a thing. You could say cut Armadillo and the induction Aegis and put it in, but I don't think I want to do it without the armored core. That's where I'd want to be like on critical core or something. All right, so let's skip this one.
They tell me it's a problem.
What's up next? Yeah, let's skip weapons. Let's just go into the shield shop. Should I hit tool? Gave us a shield item. It's garbage, but all right, force field. You're done. So what are you looking for? It's really just duct tape at this point. Replace the induction Aegis with duct tape, or maybe replace the Armadillo. I don't know. Maybe that kinetic cannon is on point. Just having the tech activations off of the cores. We'll think of that. Maybe if it turns back up, we'll go for it. But here, this should be a pretty easy thug. They did get rid of the good event, the Thieves Guild event, but still hitting bonk, hitting weapons, hitting spices, even hitting something like improvised bludgeon. It's not that bad. Putting +2 slow onto cool LEDs is a pretty big deal, and so many good outcomes from this battle. Yeah, man, the more I sit here, the more I just kind of want to go back and get that kinetic cannon. Let's come out here and dome these dudes with the huge items. Maybe that's the thing. You get the kinetic cannon, you take out the armored core, and then just put in Pig's Gym, right? Is that how we do it? No? You don't like to have fun. You don't like to have fun. So how do we chase after this here? It's like I'm a little interested in lifesteal, but we probably can't pass on the Celestial Conduit. The downside with Celestial Conduit onto our combat core is we don't have any crit scaling or crit items, and so it's tough for us to get those really big chunks of damage in with the combat core when it's not hitting crits. And so I'm a little interested in putting the Celestial Conduit onto something else, but poison's pretty bad here, lifesteal's pretty bad here. Putting it onto the armored core feels pretty low value. I guess if we come across deadly, we can just overwrite the ability on here. But I don't know. Maybe the good items, the good skills will turn up. But up next, let's go to small items. We're still using them across the board, right? Duct tape finally makes an appearance out here. Can't complain about that. Take metronome. I don't think we're going to use it, but these haste items are so big. Crypto's at 7. We can sell that. Okay. So metronome in the maybe zone. And then battery, always decent to pick up as well. You never know. You go and you spike some random legendary item and want to put batteries on it or something. It could potentially be a thing. It's a tech as well. But I was looking here to bring in the duct tape. Excuse me. And then with the duct tape, I don't super care as much about like the scaling, right? Getting the heals on it. It's always kind of a bummer to have your build look like this, to where the cool LEDs and the GPU are the only thing activating the armored core. But shouldn't be that bad. This is where we're just going to put our kinetic cannon, right? Where the duct tape armadillo is. So maybe it'll pan itself out that way. It's just the armadillo, I like it, but it's not as exciting without having a way to scale up the attack power on it. So within this set, let's just take the max health. Not really interested in friends. The snack time for 200 health is going to give us more than anything from the chocolate bars. Don't think we want any of these other hasty items. Again, I like the slow from cool LEDs. We get a bit of slow from duct tape. Man, it is so tempting to... I'm having a hard time convincing myself that Armadillo is the way to go. Like, it's going to start churning off a bunch of activations. Like, it's just we don't care about the shield scaling, right? If we were a force field build, then this would be much more appealing. That, right? If you're not familiar with the combo, when you use an adjacent item, you shield. So when you use the Armadillo, it shields, and that puts the cooldown on itself. So it's kind of self-activating in terms of generating a bunch of abilities. But like scaling up our armor into combat core doesn't do a ton, right? If you're scaling up armor into force field, then that force field is dealing more and more damage based on that. But the combat core just wants to see the activations. Maybe this is good enough, leaving it as just like an activation factory. It says as these activations go, they're not going to boost the Armadillo, but they will boost the Radiant Core. Okay. And I'm kind of bummed out about not having multi-tool in here, but let's see how this goes.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago.
It's going to be all poison, and we're going to regret not taking that not taking that lifesteal. Is that poison? Oh, that is this heal? Healing electric eels. Okay. Interesting. He's not scaling it. Why would he put the shadow cloak on his revolver? Going up against Bonk here as well. Kind of annoying. Seems like we're losing this round. It's highly unoptimized in terms of these weapons, but we're up against amber boosted tripwire and bonk. It's just our activations aren't happening. That's frustrating.
I paint my ship red, but I don't.
Not sure what I was missing on this, why this was so... I mean, I guess he got a ton of activations off this revolver. I just don't get it. I don't get why you wouldn't put the shadow cloak on the electric eels. Is it because of Lefty Lucy? Does Lefty Lucy not work if the Shadow Cloak is your leftmost item. I don't know. I mean, I guess you did 3k damage with the revolver, but it's just such a massive pile of pain in here in terms of getting item activations, right? Bonk is the massive problem, but the Amber putting the additional slow on the tripwire, slowing everything for 3 seconds once it gets used. Fairly manageable against the slows, but the bonk is always exceptionally strong. Radiant Core wasn't enough. Alright, up next though, let's jump into this gold shop. What you got for us in here? Are we just going to go for it? We're going to switch to the Railgun, right? we mentioned it before. We didn't take it because we just wanted to wait on the gold version to show up. And so now we've got access to this. When you use a tech, charge it 2. Let's go for it. I'm in. I'm on board. And so gotta make a little bit of space here. Uzi's never going to cut it. We'll just sell the armadillo and the duct tape. That's how all in we are. That's how laser focused we are on fucking up our opponents with this railgun today. So definitely want to keep the cool LEDs on board here. And then the GPU hitting both cores, probably the way to go. Okay. Make another roll. I don't think there's anything else in here to hit, but I'm ready to fuck them up with this railgun now. Oh, are we just gonna take it right up to diamond? Oh man, I'm hype. The proper upgrade has to be the combat core, right? This is where the scaling damage comes from. You upgrade that damage portion of the combat core, but all right, railgun. I'm getting excited about this. And nothing exciting. This is all poison opponents this round. We'll just fight the higher experience one. Activate railgun. Activate more. Activate more. And I'm a little tempted to just put the multi-tool in. Which one's this? Oh, when you slow charge an item for 1 second. Okay. The multi-tool is a tech, right? No, it's just a tool. Oh, that's a bummer. Alright. Well, next set, I'm going to keep going with these crit skills. That's where our big sources of damage are coming from. Nothing real coming out of this. Keen Eye is kind of okay. 8% right eye onto the combat core is not bad. I'd rather just find a big scaling kind of thing. Never using first strike. No. Artillery spotter's so bad. If you have 4 or fewer items, you get 5% crit. Why not just take the 4% to everything? Deadly Eye upgrade it is. So up next, are any of these things tools? Nope. I'll take the regen, that's fine. And then we can look towards the monster ranch here, get the loot item. Typically going experience points, but we got cooldown feather. Okay. Cooldown feather combos with all this charging that we're trying to do. Alright, let's fuck them up. Get that railgun out here up and running. Come out here and talk about Hogtua coins as the battle starts. What's he got? He's doing burn stuff. Okay. Techs are starting to go. I wonder if we shouldn't just have the shield core all the way to the right now. Getting those extra activations. I mean, it didn't even activate enough to really be interesting, right? Say, like, if we move it to the right, it doesn't put the bonus damage onto the core, but it's going to get more activations to make the railgun faster. I guess it would just been like 3 seconds of activations as half of an activation. All right, we'll keep it where it is, unless something changes. I like it though. Got him with that railgun. All right, next set. I guess we can shop for weapons. Costs $24 to upgrade one of these things. Garbage on the first set. Need to kind of remember we've got Pig's Gem. We're getting to the point to where, you know, I'm not going to spend $8 on Dianosaur for 20 health, but
You'll be back.
something there. than the diamond version of our old build turning up. Pass on that. All right, let's go to the small items. I'd love to upgrade either of these. Nothing in the first set. Not going to be on the beta raid today. It's not a tech. Skip these others.
Window shoppers.
All right, what do we got here? Get that loot. Give me the loot. Give me the loot, as the notorious B.I.G. would say. All right, we'll just take on the Revenant here. Get all these extra EXPs. It's so hard to get good items out of that middle guy. He's just like 8 shitty 1 hex items that we could never use. Got him. Big 1K crit finishing off the day. Alright, Emerald comes in. Kind of garbage. So, let's buy up the skills. Again, really want to find crit stuff, hate stuff. Deadly Eye, kind of what we're looking for, but such a low value crit here. It's like, I would still be fine with the scaling like 2% crit thing. We've got 5 more victories to go. We've got a loss in us before we hit the later rounds, and so it would have the time to get stuff in. The safe one's probably just Deadly Eye, though. All right, up next, no medium items that we need. We'll just take the Relax. So good with the force field, but that's not quite where we're at. Then upgrade the combat core. Now this one might be the mistake, right? If we find that skill to upgrade the cores, or that medium item to upgrade the cores, then we would have preferred to have had the upgrade onto Railgun. But I don't know. If we've like 50-50 throughout the entirety of the game, we probably just need good items at this point. We're going to start getting to the point to where people just have obnoxious builds. Saw a big Railgun crit in there, though. No, we've gotten down to 27 hit points. That's such a bummer.
Like my crew says at the bar. Another round.
Like he landed at 27. It took a shot to pop the life preserver. Then we needed another shot to finish off the round. That would have been a bummer to lose. All right, next set. Survive the day, though. Let's hit up these weapons. See if we get that Railgun upgrade. Not using forklift. All these Dianosaurs turning up now. Not in the cards. So up next, guess we can look at non-weapon items. There's not a ton of stuff to hit in here. We're just not using COG, right? I'm gonna skip past that. Schematics, isn't it? Your tools and vehicles have a 50% crit. This is reworked. I haven't even seen this before. I just ignored this thing so much. So your tools and vehicles have 50% crit. We don't have either of those. The core is not a vehicle. And when you use a tool, charge a vehicle. This is one of these things that strikes me as like once the girl gets in that uses the vehicles and she spikes the schematics, she's gonna be fucking bonkers.
You'll go buy a weapon instead.
All right, up next though. Let's just go to the Awakened District, get all of these, try and get all of these experience points. Score a level up if we can. Got some healthy chunks of damage in, so if we have to take a hit from the Eye of the Forest, whatever this thing is called, we can live. Soul of the District, Eye of the Forest. Essentially the same thing. Landscraper. All right, I'm just selling it, whatever. You know, I've decided that this is our build. If an enchanted item turns up or something, then so be it. All right. What do you got in the Diamond Land? Doubling crit, not quite it. Can she find the double damage on large items? I know that's I don't know if that's just a Vanessa. It has a cannon on it. It's probably just a Vanessa thing, right? Emergency shield's not terrible, right? Whenever you fall below half health, use your highest shield item. The Radiant Core should stay over the Armored Core, but I think we just want to have knife tricks here. Well, is well-oiled machine just better? When you use the core, reduce an item's cooldown by 5. So the knife tricks only hits our weapons. You get that double activation off of the railgun, which is the kind of big one, right? Has a 10-second cooldown on its own. So dropping cooldown on railgun is a fairly big number, right? If we 10% a cool LEDs, that's only 0.3 taken off. But if we 10% off a railgun, that's almost a full second taken off. But we do have 2 cores activating. Probably just want the core reductions. I don't know. That knife tricks does sound so nice with railgun. Just takes it so long to get up and running. Okay, well-oiled machine it is. I don't know. That's one of those things you need to drop into a simulator and tell me what's better. Oh shit! Time to party. Time to party. We went to the random shop and the freeze items turned up. Oh, I thought it was the freeze enchantment. Fuck. So power drill, some random freezer, icy charcoal, all garbage. Come on, give us something cool. Garbage. All garbage. Man, I was so hyped. I saw this dumb bitch turn up. Shouldn't call her a dumb bitch. That's not very nice to say. I'm sure she's very intelligent and very nice. But I thought it was the icy shop. It's so awesome getting those icy enchantments.
I would never debase my wares by
I take it back, Frieza. You are not dumb. And I'm sure you're very nice.
Oh, I understand. Class isn't for everyone.
Bummer, though. So bummed. What you got? Another Dooley. We got better skins than him, so should be in good shape. Burn Dooley. Starting to tear down his health, but he's got the insta-activating flame thing. Did we tie? No, barely got him. Barely got him. Nice. 400 health right at the end of the day. What'd these cooldowns get to? 8.2 on the railgun. Oh, the round thing ended. 8 activations on cores, though. It's wild seeing... Man, maybe we should have taken the knife skills. Seeing the 8 activations turn up on the railgun. All of those would have landed back on itself. Put on your thinking cap.
If you have to ask
Alright, though, let's ace through this. Small items, no upgrades. No upgrades. We're just gonna look for enchanted stuff and upgrades. That's all we really want at this point. Large items, see if we can't find another railgun. Force field turns up, it's not enchanted. It's tough with me with Crane. I don't think we're set up to deal with Crane. Like, maybe if we'd taken that schematics and now having access to Crane, it could do a thing, but we don't have any cooldown reduction for it. And so we would just be derping around until we hopefully got that that damage built up. I don't think we're set up to being sustainful enough to deal with the Crane. So we'll skip over that. Here's our railgun, though.
I would give it for free.
Take that up to the big 420 beeps. Fucking nice. That's the way the railgun is meant to be. Out here balling with that 420 deeps.
Target acquired. Engaging.
Okay, we'll go up against the freeze guy. Let's try and get the most experience points we can. Diamond railgun, looking good.
Disregard intel.
It's at
Target
8.7.
Aims.
Yeah, I'm regretting taking well-oiled machine over knife skills. I'm regretting it. What you got in here? Damage thing? Yeah. We gotta screenshot this at this point, right? It's got the funny number on it, so it's got to be at that point. But here, let's go gamble on knowledge. Try and get a level up before the next round. Did we hit? We'll get there. And now the cult. This is interesting, right? This is where you can come in and pick up deadly. You have to sacrifice like 25% of your health, but it's got to be worth it, right? 20%, so like 1k hit points to put deadly on the railgun. I'm on board. I don't think that's too greedy. Now we get to come in. Is it even worth upgrades at this point? I think I just want to take skills now. Like, we've upgraded the stuff that really matters. Heavy machinery is a big deal. When you use the core, haste some shit. When you haste, get crits is nice, but I don't think we're scaled up enough on our haste just yet. So let's take that heavy machinery.
Every coin goes back to our community.
All right.
We
Up against
Sphinxians
Vanessa.
thank you.
Rip 420 damage. Okay, okay. Got that deadly railgun though.
Legend on Pelago.
See those big crits roll in. She's got the knife skills. I miss it. froze that double barrel right out the gates though. That's a bummer, isn't it, friend?
Bring her about. I've got
GG.
another salvo.
That's what I was talking about earlier with the the pain points of single item Vanessa, right? She's only got 3 targets for those things, and so all of our slows and all of our freezes are just super likely to land on the double barrel. Right, if you're looking at our build, 20% chance to hit the railgun, but his build 33% chance to hit that 33% chance to hit that double barrel. All right, so we'll take the health. Medium and large items don't do anything for us now. Small and large items can do stuff.
All things in moderation.
So no upgrades. Curious if we need to, like, envision that, say, like a metronome turns up, then we sell the GPU and try and find a gold or a diamond one later. It's very challenging for us to find silver tier items at this point. So that might have been, you know, a bit of motivation in terms of hanging on to some of those items before we went and just sold them all. I think this is okay just going for the experience points. You can fight Trash Titan. Try and get the skill that when you use a small item, you charge a large item. It does combo nicely with the cores, but I think I'm happy to come in and just try and spike all the experience that we can. Let's pick up Dooley skills at this point. I think crit's probably about as good as it's going to get. So what do we got? Freeze, haste. We only have the 1 freeze item at this point. Friend stuff. When you use the core, give bonus damage. Not horrible, but not exactly what we're doing. We don't have any friends. Right? So not the best on buddy system. We're not burning. Well, reducing the cooldown of the cores by 15% is not terrible. Wasn't a big win, but it wasn't a loss. Now we get skill upgrades. 3 items for 3 seconds on rigged. Sounds great. Better than 5% crit. Okay, now's it time to start gumballing. Yeah, let's just take the health. Alright, next battle. Another single item Vanessa. Missed on the weapon this time. That's a bit of a bummer. But maybe we can carry in. Nope. He's gonna have too much sustain in that lifesteal. Bummer. Alright, give us a cool enchantment. What you got? Shields? So we can get double shield on the armored core. Not really interested in putting shields on the smaller items. You get the double shield on the shield core though. Alright, up next, don't need weapons. Gonna be chocolate bars. Oh man, we had all these extra chocolate bars. I was trying to play the game right by not selling the chocolate bars in case we went to a shop that was going to give us money out of them, and then completely forgot about it. All right, sells items. So that, you know, does that make a little bit of sense, right? With these small items, we're seeing some silver tier stuff turn up, but it's not super likely to get an upgrade on either of these. It's probably more likely to see a gold or a diamond one at this point. And so if we say take the tech that is the battery, sell off GPU and then just look for a different GPU later. Like, I think I'm on board with this. And also just stacking battery into Railgun doesn't seem terrible. So I'm going to do that. Battery being silver tier is kind of shitty, but getting these faster hits on the Railgun's probably a pretty good deal anyways. So many medkits today.
Do you have to leave already?
First Aiden being upset he's not a part of our team. Alright. Up against the octopus guy. Got him. Give me that 2% crit on the arms race. Well, 30% cooldown on the core could definitely be worse. Up next, monster skills. What you got? Non-tool items get crit. Yeah. Items have 2% crit for each weapon you have. Gives us 4. That's pretty meh. When you slow haste a weapon, not bad. Right? We've got the cool LEDs out here. This armored core is going to start activating pretty fucking fast, right? It's got the overclocked and it has the hyper focused. So our core activation should be pretty quick. Okay, haste it all up. Ooh, now we got more slow stuff. Well, this is an interesting one, right? We have access to deadly. We could put deadly onto the combat core and get rid of radiant, which I'm not opposed to. Like, it does suck if like our whole board gets slowed, but it's not 100% like game ender if our like one of our weapons gets slowed because the other one's still kind of doing stuff. And so I'm not opposed to switching it to deadly. Putting heavy onto the combat core is also kind of interesting as well, especially now that we just picked up paralyzing rush when you slow haste a weapon. And so I think this would haste or slow 3 times on the big one. So I'm a little interested in that. I do need to see what this upgrade's going to do to cool LEDs though. Heavy cool LEDs. All right, so it just has double the slow duration. That doesn't really feel like a win. And so, yeah, I think one of these upgrades to combat core is probably where we want to be. Making it heavy is going to do 3 slows instead of 1. Deadly gives it the crit. I think as we're here in the kind of like late game, need to kill people as fast as we can kind of stage, that I'm just going to put the deadly onto the combat core, overwrite that radiant. And if, you know, the opponent goes completely ham and locks down everything, then fine. What do we got here? Went to the random shop place. Didn't turn up anything big. Just take the networking for the EXPs. See if we can't take down the old Vanessa here. Level 13. It's so wild seeing our opponent be at level 13 when we're pushing level 20. Almost done there, I assure you. Video almost complete. Start squeezing your cheeks and getting ready for it. Another combat cutlass. Missed our freeze, so we're probably dead. You got to see the freeze land on our combat core as well. Oh my god, you got to be kidding me. That's the way things are going to go today. I don't think it would have mattered, but that is a bit of a bummer. And so, yeah, I'm not certain the answer there. That last round, or I guess like the last 2 or 3 rounds against Vanessa, really kind of showcase why I don't like the scaling builds, which we are to a degree, right? We need a bit of time to get up and running, but as you go into day 14, day 15, you need to be killing your opponent fast, and that's exactly what we saw out of that guy. He had the diamond silencer on a multi-strike weapon that was getting haste on itself, and then him having the freeze come in and land on one of our core items was a pretty big deal. And so, you know, you could see how nicely these rounds went. When our freeze landed in the right spot, we won, and when our freeze landed in the wrong spot, we didn't win. And so, a bit of a struggle in that sense. But we had a lot of decisions that really kind of led into how that final battle was really coming in and looking. I'm pretty upset about well-oiled machine. I think even here in the late game, to where, you know, we have this 3-second combat core, and I can't even pull it up now, but it's a almost 3 seconds shield core behind it. I think I still would have preferred to have had the what's it called? Preferred to have had the the knife tricks. I think that was a fairly big deal along the way. And then we did sacrifice Radiant off of our combat core, which was that painful target at the end. We would not be making mention of Radiant, though, if that freeze landed on literally anything else. And so I'm not entirely certain that I feel so bad about it at that point. But it does entirely showcase why I don't like scaling burn, I don't like scaling poison, I don't like scaling shields. I really like these oops, I killed you as fast as I can kind of builds, because that's the nonsense you run into in these late days. It's just going to be people being like, oh, look, I've got, rigged instantly hasting my stuff, and then I've got other combos that all tie into it. And we weren't able to exactly get there. It was kind of neat going for the deadly railgun, but at the end of the day, I feel like this might be one of these builds to where we should have probably taken out the shield core and then looked to maybe use like red button and then another small tech. That shield core just wasn't really tying in enough to the big damage at the end of the day. And so I think that is, probably where we were lacking. I think that if we want to recap how we could have done this a lot better for our late game build, I think that we should have taken the knife tricks over well-oiled machine, and then I think we should have probably gotten the core out, looked for a red button, looked for another small item, and then just had more like small item tech stuff happening out here. But nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Busted Me. Thank you for being here.